met on a uni field trip. We were on Fraser Island and we got in the same troopy and our troopy got bogged. So Hamish spent the next couple of hours digging out a troopy with a few other guys and I stood on the side for moral support. And he just came up to me and saw I was cold.
I've been sussing that for a while.
And
There might be an opportunity here. She's getting colder. Yeah.
Offered me his jumper and that was it.
Well, it was a couple months after, wasn't it? So we went back to uni and sort of hung out a little bit in groups, and then I asked Susan out and she said no. First time.
Because?
Well, because she had a boyfriend at the time.
Yes.
And then a couple months later and situations changed and we had drinks at my place with a couple of other friends, put on some Incubus, and then Susan asked me out and I said yes.
Mine was when Hamish did the Kokoda Challenge, that 96k walk down at the Gold Coast hinterland. He did that and I couldn't get work off, so I wasn't on the finish line to see him, but he came back home after that, drove an hour and a half from the Gold Coast after 30 hours of walking. Got home, I met him at home and he opened the door and he was still in his clothes and he looked terrible and he smelt really bad, and that was it. That's when I knew that was the guy.
For me it was when after uni one day we went back to a mate's place and Susan's into her music and she plays music and writes songs, and it was the first time I'd heard her sing, and she just sort of opens up when she sings. So yeah, that was it. I was sold. That was quite a lot of planning. So 6 months earlier, we went to Africa together in 2012. So I organised one of my friends who was going to Africa to get some tanzanite, which is only found in Tanzania. And he brought that back for me, and then I made a pendant out of it. And I took her back to Fraser Island, where we first met. And we had a big seafood dinner, and then went back to the place, and
I was kind of suspicious, but I didn't want to get my hopes up, so I was telling myself it wasn't going to happen, it's not going to happen, it's okay. And I don't know, Hamish hit it pretty well. I thought that maybe he'd be acting a bit more weird if he was going to propose, but
I felt like I was acting really weird.
Very well.
I felt like I was acting very strangely, but apparently she didn't pick up on it. Yeah, the wedding was awesome fun. So the wedding was at the Sunshine Coast in Australia at a vineyard. The weather was terrible. It was absolutely hammered down rain, but we had a great time. Ceremony was awesome and just had a really good fun day and night with all our friends and family.
Yeah, it was amazing. I don't know, I couldn't have asked for anything better. I thought going into it, I really wanted to have a sunny, beautiful day and didn't care about anything else that sort of went wrong as long as Hamish showed up. But yeah, that day it was pouring down, it was freezing, it was windy, and I don't know, it didn't affect the day at all. It was just so beautiful, so romantic.
Yeah, we've definitely gone through some tough times. One of the toughest times for me was when one of my close friends passed away. This was a few years ago. And I just remember I found it really difficult. And I just remember Susan was always there. Susan helped me out and just cheered me up, played me music, pulled me away from what was going on elsewhere. And definitely made our connection a lot stronger, I think.
Yeah, a few years ago I was going through a bit of a hard time, a bit struggling a bit with life and a bit sad, and Hamish was always there for me, and every day he would give me a bit of confidence to, face the world, and he was there unconditionally, and he was there for me, and not because I was fun, happy or whatever, because I wasn't that fun and happy at that time. But yeah, I really like his silliness. So an example is, I don't know, this was a few months ago. I was just in the bathroom getting ready. I think we were going somewhere, touch football, and walked out the door, and Hamish is on the floor, moving in a very strange way, and my stomach dropped. I'm thinking, oh no, he's having some kind of fit. What do I do? What do I do? And he was actually just break dancing. So yes, it was funny after the fact, obviously, not straight away, but yeah, once I found out he was breakdancing, it was great.
There's lots of things I love about Susan. One of the main ones is just how she is always looking to make life better. She's never happy, not in a bad way. She's happy, but as in she's always looking to improve, and she's always looking to do something fun and interesting and exciting, and I suppose I tend to get really single-minded and focused, and so she pulls me out of that, and we go to the beach or go do something interesting and fun. Go to Europe for 3 months. Yeah, it's good. I think to get a relationship to the marriage stage, you just have to accept who you are and who they are, and accept that life isn't perfect, but it's about sharing it with someone else, and that don't put too much pressure on them to be perfect, and don't put too much pressure on yourself to be perfect. Just accept who they are and who you are.
Yeah, well, I remember quite a few years ago I was with my ex-boyfriend. It's probably not supposed to talk about him now. But yeah, I was obviously not sure about him, so I was talking to my mum about the relationship, and I just said, how do you know? How do you know when you're supposed to marry someone? And she said to me, you just know. And at the time I thought, that's terrible advice. That does not help me at all. Like, how do you know? And now I know, you just know. Because that's how I feel about Hamish.